Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is week 4 of the Lilacia Love Sew Along from Fort Worth Fabric Studios. We've got a couple different blocks to sew today. As you can see though, I have the previous week's blocks on the wall behind me. I'm super excited to get these blocks done because this is the last week of blocks, I believe. And then next week we're going to put this whole thing together. This quilt is going to be so beautiful. So let's get started and get these blocks done, and maybe we can start guessing the layout. Okay, so here are the pieces you are going to need. You're going to need your background pieces. You'll need two 10.5 inch squares and 4 of these 9.5 by 18.5 inch rectangles. This rectangle we're not going to need right away. That's in the second step. So I'm going to put that aside. And then you're going to need your 8 9.5 by 9.5 inch squares, which are these green pieces right here. So I'm going to put both these aside because that's going to go together in step 2. And then you're going to need your purple lilac fabric eye. You're going to need both of those 10.5 inch squares. So the first thing we're going to do is make half square triangles with your 10.5 inch background square and your 10.5 inch lilac square. I've already sewn the line from corner to corner, so you're going to, or not sewn, I'm sorry, drawn the line. Apparently I can't speak today. Drawn the line, and we're going to sew on either side of that line a 1/4 inch away. So I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to trim these. It's going to make 2 half square triangles, and we're going to trim these down to 9.5 inches square. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to grab my ruler and I'm going to set it right on that line that we drew and cut those 2 pieces apart. Now you're going to make 4 half square triangles altogether, or 2 sets of these. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press these guys. And then after I've pressed them, I'm going to trim them down to 9.5 inches. Okay, there's one. And 2. And I'm going to grab my square ruler. If you've got a square ruler, that could be very helpful right now. And I'm going to square this to 9.5 inches. So I'm going to lay my ruler right on that drawn line or sewn line and then trim this guy down. That's one. And you're going to want to do that for all 4 of your squares, because you should have 4 of these half square triangles. Okay, there's that. So that's what those are going to look like. So that's step 1. And then in step 2, we are going to make some flying geese blocks. So I'm going to set these guys aside, and I'm going to grab those big background rectangles and then our 9.5 inch green squares. This green is so pretty. I love this fabric. I know I say that every week, but I really do love the fabric, and I need to close that so I don't cut myself. Okay, so as you guys remember, this white is a little bit, you got to look closely to see what is the front and what is the back. That looks like it's the front or the right side. So then I'm going to lay this right sides together. I've already drawn a line corner to corner, which you can see there in the video. So I'm going to put this one here. Oh, I think the diagram actually shows that side first. But I already made a couple with this side. It won't matter which side you start with first, as long as you do them all the same. So make sure you do that, follow the diagram. So I'm going to sew corner to corner. Okay, and then before I cut these off, I always check, especially because they're big pieces and they could go wonky on you. I always check to make sure. I kind of fold over, make sure it covers where it's supposed to, and it looks like it does. So I'm going to flip this back open so I don't cut it off by accident. And cut these bottom 2 layers off 1/4 inch away from that sewn line. And these are pretty big pieces, so if you're somebody like scraps, this is a good chunk of fabric that you might want. My scrap bucket here in front of me. I don't use scraps personally, but I do save scraps, especially like that, for people who ask for scraps. Because I know a lot of people like scraps. And sometimes I actually send them to the Navajo Quilt Project, package them up in a flat rate mailer and send them over to them. They don't mind scraps at all. Nice way to help out our Native Americans in this country. Okay. Just give that a press. After you've given that a good press, then we will sew on the other side. Just roll it out of the way. I'm going to do the same exact thing I just did. I'm going to lay this here, making sure it's going to turn out into a flying geese. You may want to pin these because they are like bigger pieces and they can shift a little bit. I'm going to wing it and hope the flying geese turns out correctly. But if you're a newer quilter and you're a little nervous, you might want to pin it. Just don't pin it where it's going to go under your presser foot. Just pin it like way over on the sides. Okay, so if you're going to pin it, I would pin like way over here and way over here, like well away from your line there. Let me check this. That looks good, covering where it's supposed to. And then I'm going to trim this off. And then we're going to give this a press. And that's it, folks. That's all we have this week. So this week was a nice and simple week. You're going to make 4 of those half square triangles all together, or 2 sets. So you should have 2 sets of squares. And then you're going to make 4 of these flying geese. If you pre-cut everything in the first week when we cut, then this shouldn't take you more than 20-ish minutes, maybe. I've been on here showing this to you guys for about 10 minutes, and of course it always takes a little longer when you're explaining, which I love doing, so I don't mind. But if I was sitting down and sewing these, I would probably chain piece them, and the half square triangles and the flying geese, and I could probably be done with them all in 15-20 minutes. So there you go, a nice easy week, which is great. And then you can start guessing what you think the layout might be. And some of you think you already know because I've seen some pictures, and I don't know if you're right or not. Okay, so there's that block, and here's this block. So you're gonna make 4 of these and 4 of these. Well, that's it. And that was a quick, I can't believe how quick that was. That was a quick week this week. I'm really excited for next week because next week is the final wrap up, and we get to put all this together into a beautiful quilt top. This quilt is going to be so gorgeous. I cannot wait to get it done, get it long armed, and start using it. I hope you enjoyed this week. Thank you so much for coming over. I love seeing you all here. Don't forget to go to the Fort Worth Fabric Studio Facebook group. Post your progress pictures. If you're not already a member and you are on Facebook, there's a link in my description box below this video, and you can go over there, ask to join, just answer a few questions, and then post your pictures of your project. We would love, love, love to see it. Lots of you have been doing that, so thank you so much. If you need the PDF patterns for this week, you can also click that link down below my video. They're always, all this information is always in each video each week, so if you are confused or lost or need help finding something, go ahead and go to that description box and hit the more button, and you'll see all the links to everything. And that's it for now. I cannot believe how fast this week went, but as you can see, I've got a sampling of all the blocks on the wall behind me. I couldn't fit them all up there because we've got a lot of blocks now. But again, here's this week's. That's the first block, and here's the second. So some beautiful half square triangles and flying geese. Can't wait to see how these fit in the quilt because I thought I had it figured out, but now I'm not so sure when we added these this week. All right, guys, take care, and I will see you next week for the final put together. So excited about that. Have fun sewing these, and I will see you really soon. Bye.